So I'm just curious about something if all that came through. Because in the previous couple of recordings, ever since I started using this new headset, I don't know if it's OBS or if it's just my headset, but I've been picking up a lot more background noise on my microphone.
Fascinating.
I've been picking it up too. There's a little bit of an echo.
It's because you're using Bluetooth, though.
Possibly.
Yeah, if that's the case, well, even with the wireless one, depends if it has independent drivers. You might be able to find some noise cancellation in it.
There's a natural noise filter on OBS that you want to activate as well, because even cardioids, there will always be background sound, especially if you're not using an XLR, which I highly doubt any of us poor motherfuckers are.
I used to.
If you are, but yeah, you'll still want to activate that in OBS later on as well.
I actually used to use an XLR cable
I'll have to look that up then.
when I was using
Also,
my condenser microphone.
Also, keeping in mind what you hear, what we hear from Discord, and what you hear from your headphones is not actually what's going in the video. Same when you're editing. The editing software will always have it louder than it actually ends up in the finished product. And I hate that!
I think
It's like,
Steve!
why? Just do the real audio. Just do the real audio. Don't exaggerate the audio. Just do the real audio.
Don't do it. Don't do
I
it,
can't
Steve.
remember
Don't
which
do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I can't remember which
Steve's
recording
gonna
it
do
was.
it.
I think it might have been Runeterra last week, but I know it picked up like the TV slightly in the background. Anyway, greetings everyone and welcome back to the Devil Darlings. So, last time, you all conversed with the sea haggy sound on the other end of the portal. I'm trying to remember what name she gave you.
Fish lady.
Her actual name. Well, the nickname that
I
she gave,
believe-
not Fish Lady.
I don't think she gave us a name. I think she just growled at the fact that we were all calling her Fish Lady.
She gave a name like relating to the seas or something like that, but I can't remember what it was.
Brine. Briny.
Yeah, Briny. That's
Briny.
it. Briny.
Oh, I just call her Fish Lady. That's what
Why
she'll
must you make
forever
us all
be.
suffer like this?
Because I was made to suffer for years.
Yeah, but I had no part in that. Why make me suffer?
No, no, don't do it, Steve. No.
Steve's gonna do it.
Steve. But yes, you talked to
You're
Briny.
so
Briny
close to
basically
death.
told you that she herself is also investigating this creature that is ripping its way through from the Feywild into this realm. She has given Misskiff a enchanted seashell that will inform her when she is near her other half, given that her curse that is on her is a body switch rather than just transmutation. On top of that, yes, indeed, the elephant head is possessed by a spirit. Spirit that seems to remember certain things from the past. Mainly things involving miasma. You all headed back to the tavern with Au-Zuk being the first one to go over there. I can't tell whose microphone that was over. I just saw someone's
That
flash
was
up.
me.
The sexual sounds coming for the last few minutes have been from Dion.
That
It's
was
'cause-
my sigh of relief as Steve is dead.
You're not making it sound any better.
It's because I
Sorry,
just
Leigh.
caught it out the corner of my eye, and given that your name's above Jack, so we're there going, it's either you or Jack, which means Jack just made an odd noise about Au-Zuk being mentioned.
Roll.
But Au-Zuk made it back to the tavern before anyone else to find out that Weird Boy, the orc with an exposed brain that was having prophetic visions, had been murdered
Hooray.
Oh my.
by a air quotes unknown species, end air quotes. Totally not a clown.
Mm-hmm.
You were all given rooms on the provisions that someone cleaned up the mess, which Misskiff decided to take on herself, where she stood in brains and had a prophetic vision. A vision
I
of Tiamat cultists working outside of what seems to be a large city, like castle-like city built into the side of a mountain. And then visions of a court of pale-skinned beings, as well as a few other races, and what seems to be a tiefling in a cage. A very familiar-looking tiefling, at that. I believe it was there where you all went to bed, but before we do get to that, I did say that Cog did not follow you in, as Cog was heading back to the ship with their cargo in their bag of holding, because yet again, intellect devourers don't need to breathe.
Hmm.
So Cog, as you're making your way along, can you please make me a perception check?
right. Perception. 18.
18. So,
Sorry.
Yes.
actually, that's a good question, just quickly as well, because we never did state where these went.
Nowhere is the answer that you seek. Nowhere and everywhere.
Fair.
Everything and nothing.
So,
I'm always on Cog's back, so nowhere and everywhere where Cog goes.
you make me a perception check as well, then, given that you are on Cog's back.
Damn it, I should have said nothing.
You got out of being in the Tuesday game despite sitting in for half of it. You're not getting out of this one.
Hey, I've squeezed out of a few Tuesdays.
Ooh,
BRB.
I
Where
okay.
is my goddamn, where are you? You said perception?
oh yeah. Okay.
8.
Yeah, again, I'm being the
And
unprofessional and eating chocolate while trying to talk.
I'm the most perceptive boy.
Hmm.
So, Bean, you don't really see much. You're just trying to keep to yourself, trying to remain hidden. With your 18, however, Patu, you get the
Cog.
feeling that you Cog.
The
Wow.
two's not jumping.
I'm used to getting the names mixed up. I'm not used to getting the characters' names mixed up between Tuesdays.
With that 18, Patu just pops out of a portal. I'm sorry, Cog, you have to go. Throws Cog through the portal. Yes.
Cog gets to deal with the freaking stuff.
Yeah, Cog gets to deal with the other party this week.
Given we last left Patu in mid-flight, that's not going to end well for Cog.
No, it wouldn't.
Cog,
Yeah.
you get the feeling that you're being watched. Just occasionally out the corner of your eyes? Visors? Not quite sure how you'd put it for a Warforged.
Slightly
Optical
noticed
rep-
through the
Optical receptors. No, I can't forget
receptors.
receptors. That's the word.
Hmm.
You catch glimpsing, fleeting moments. What seems to be small figures just watching, turning, and walking off.
Alexa, set alarm for 9 minutes.
Hmm. Does Cog get a better look at them, or is it just two figures?
It's two figures holding hands that dip behind a back alley. As you continue walking, you'll look to your left Despite them being to your right last time, you catch a glimpse of them again. They just see you and walk out of vision.
Hmm. Cog will stop and look where they last were.
They're down one of the back alleys, but heading in a direction towards what seems to be your ship.
Cog will tilt his head and proceed to follow.
As you make your way to the gates of the city, a couple of the guards are just still there. They'll see you approach. Look, I don't know if your kind sleeps or not, but you do realise it's getting to nightfall. You'd probably be better getting somewhere safe.
Oh, awesome.
Just going to the ship.
By
I can
yourself?
sleep there. Yes, is that a problem?
Eh, no problem, just we're expecting the rest of you to go with you.
I'm back.
Oh, I think they are sleeping already.
Very well. Just be careful out there. You never know what's crawling around the forest this time of night.
Right. Thank
As Cog passes by, Bean is going to look back at the people and wave, and then just go back to being a backpack.
you.
They'll just like look to each other and be like, I'm not sure if that's like a parasite or just like some eh, don't worry about it. They're out of the city. It's out of our jurisdiction now.
Parasite.
They've exited the building. Don't worry about it. Just close the door and don't ask questions.
And as you make your way back to your living ship, it will slowly raise its head as it detects you in the presence and just turn to look at you. Do they use a little scan over you? And the hatch will open.
Cog
Bean
will
is
go.
going to pop off of Cog's back.
Hmm.
Bean is not going inside of the ship with Cog.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Where
Cog's
is
going.
Hey, I've missed 3 sessions. I'm allowed to go on an adventure.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
so? Cog, as you head on board the ship, with Bean leaving you behind.
Hmm.
What is it that you're doing exactly when it comes to this creature in your bag of holding, or on the ship in general?
Well, I mean, we did kind of make it clear we were going to give it to the sisters. Of course, nobody else knows who the sisters are
Yes.
except for Cog and the Marquis.
And you know that the last time you saw the sisters was up in space.
Yeah,
So are you leaving them all behind and taking the ship, or are you just preparing this thing for containment until then?
probably preparing for containment, although
Okay. Hold on.
the sisters aren't particularly bound to space, from what I remember.
Oh, I know they're not, but that was
Hmm.
the last place you saw them.
True.
So you pop your bag of holding onto your workbench and just open it up. And I'm assuming you're just going to reach in and try and grab it.
Yeah.
You reach in and make me a animal handling check.
All right. $17.
You know, rather than just do a full-on grasp, you just kind of hold your hand out and cup it from underneath and just bring it out. And it just kind of settles on the workbench before looking over towards you, with the minds connecting once more. You are giving us free reign of the ship, of the layout. Or are we to be caged again?
Mm, not caged per se.
So you would trust us to move around?
Mm, until the time is necessary for you to be awake, I was thinking you could sleep.
But we have stayed dormant for so long in that cage. We need movement. We need freedom.
Mm. Hog just kind of scratches their head.
This is where two voices will pipe up. One kind of a bit more higher pitched, the other one lower pitched. The higher pitched one seemingly a bit more friendly in tone, because the one just seems a bit more annoyed. So they go, well, how about you put a little collar or a leash on one of the legs? Or you could just throw it in its own little room, I suppose. Put a little bell on it so that you can hear it whenever it moves.
Hmm. Looks up.
You look up. You see nothing as you look up because the voice is coming from behind.
Turns around.
You see what seems to be a white skilled kobold hand in hand with a black skilled kobold just watching you.
Hmm.
It has been some time. Too long, if you ask me. You never read, you never write, you never contact. Well, what reading have to do with that? I know it just seems to fit with writing and...
Hmm. 50-50 on Cog actually recognizing them. Should I roll to see?
Make me a religion check.
Cool. Oddly enough, that's not one of my worst ones. 18?
You've been in contact with these a few times in their alternating forms. You're pretty sure this is the twins.
Oh, hello, sisters.
Sisters, sorry.
Well, they are not Siamese twins.
No, because they're holding hands.
It's confusing.
Unless they're
Yeah.
conjoined at the hands. I mean,
It's confusing.
they're never seen releasing each other's grasp, so who knows?
Hmm.
So,
Hello.
several months without contact, without seeing this contraption drifting through the astral seas. What gives? Were you trying to avoid us?
Alexa, shut up.
No, we were detained.
Did Marquis break Hello again? Break some rules? Did he just break another wall?
No, he's always breaking walls. But, we ended up in the hills.
I always knew you'd
And
end up there someday. Oh, you be quiet. Be nice once in your life. Why were you in the hells?
we were looking for a sauna.
You do realize the only kind of saunas you're going to find are hotter than you're expecting. Oh, lava's one way to put it.
Pardon.
We didn't mean to be there on purpose.
No, you never are meant to be anywhere on purpose. That's what they call an adventure.
There.
So now that you're free, what comes next? And what's with that thing?
This, gesturing to the brain dog, was abandoned. I was going to see if you would like to balance them.
You do realize keeping that is just going to make things more suspicious, right?
Mm.
I'm sure they'll be fine. No one knows yet, aside from Marquis, but that's bound to happen.
Yes. Suppose you're right.
So, balance this one out. We got a few ideas of this. And of course, ideas are always difficult when you can't agree with yourself or with yourself, if you
Hmm.
understand it. Her
Right.
thought is to just turn it into a much more nicer form. Yeah, well, better your idea of keeping it as it is and just separating the link.
It said that it was disconnected already.
Disconnected at the moment, but once it gets into range of a fleet, who knows if the connection would be rejoined.
Hmm. Fair.
Putting it in a different form would mean it would be able to accompany without much eyebrow raise.
Hmm.
Yes, but at that point, think about it. If you turn it into like a dog or something, then it's just essentially building like a dog form for it to inhabit. May as well just be building a new flesh puppet and stuffing it inside the skull.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what would you rather do?
I imagine a new form would probably help it to adapt better
Hmm.
to its current circumstances. And the link probably should be severed permanently. You both pose very good ideas, as usual.
Well, I'm sure we could do that. Have you ever tried to ask it what it wants?
It wants to be reconnected.
We want to be free, to be allowed to roam.
That is.
I'll tell you what, with these kind of things always comes like a give and take situation,
Hmm.
which is higher on the. It all depends on if it's more give or take, but that's what you get with these kind of magics. We could give it a new form, but it may find it harder to do its usual thing. You know, talking telepathically, all that kind of stuff.
Could help it to adapt.
Or we could just make the form an illusion, make it so that everyone else sees it as. Yes, but then that puts everyone else in danger, in case it ever gets hungry. Which would you rather? Illusion
Hmm.
or form change?
Form change would be the safest route. And I'm sure the Marquis and I could help it to adapt. After all, I'm still adapting myself.
Very well. They will walk over, and while still holding hands, the white one's right hand being in the black one's left hand, they'll use their free hands to scoop up the intellect devourer. Leave it with us, we'll get it sorted. Don't find us, we'll find you. And they will
Yeah.
head off the ship. And if you were to peer outside of the hatch, there would be no sign of them.
Alrighty then. Well, that went a lot smoother than I thought it would.
So what would Cog be doing now? Taking rest up on the ship for the night or heading back?
Cog would see it smarter to go back.
Okay,
Safety in numbers, after all.
that is absolutely fair. Speaking of, while all this was happening, what was Bean doing?
Oh, Bean's in the woods now.
Hmm.
Bean has walked to the closest thing that could be considered woods with trees, and he has gone inside to see what's in there.
Okay. Make me a general survival check. Let's just see how this fares.
Let me just save my changes. Open.
Also, hi Zach, I don't know when you entered.
Okay.
Snuck on in.
I
What
love
did you
how
want
the only
again?
answer you get is an unnerving laugh.
Survival check, please.
Oh, whoa.
Nat 20.
Nice.
So,
It's because I wanted it.
you
Oh, wait.
don't even bother with trying to go for any of the smaller trees and that lot. As you were stood out there, just as Cog went on the ship, you saw a much larger tree towards the center of this small forest. Probably one of the oldest trees there, and you decided that is where I'm going.
Napping time.
So as you flitter through the forest to get to this larger tree, it already does seem to have a holder in the middle of it.
Well, how tall would it be? Probably until like the first few sets of branches that like saw up.
Probably
Could see over to
at least 10
town.
foot up.
Okay. I'm gonna fly up there and I'm gonna curl up on the branch.
Okay, and that is where you're sleeping for the night on the branch.
'Tis my nap space. I will rise when the sun rises. Although I'm not really sleeping, I guess, but just kind of like chilling.
Okay. I was rolling to see if something spotted you, but that's quite literally a nat one on its part, so no, it does not.
Yeah, I'll pretty much just be sitting here for the night, like
Yep.
enjoying the scenery.
So, as Bean rests up in the forest, you make your way back to the gate, Cog, as the two guards are just there being like, I thought you were resting up on the ship. There been some kind of issue?
No, I did what I needed to do.
Alright. Not seen any of your friends in that lot, so I'm assuming they're still probably over in that tavern.
Most likely right.
And as you pass by, they'll look to your back. The parasite's gone. You may want to keep an eye on that just in case. Who knows where it's gone. And it would be roughly when the rest of you were discussing who was taking which rooms, that cog would re-enter from the front. Cog, you see the rest of them over at the front of the tavern, discussing that they had been given 3 rooms for the night and which rooms they were all going to stay in. If I recall right, it's yet again Unusor, Sanna, and Misskiff in one, with Au-Zuk, Marquis, and probably Cog in the other one. With Bean and not Bean, Bloob and Miasma taking up the third one.
Hmm.
I don't think I forgot anyone there. I think I remembered everyone that's in the party.
Leigh.
Yes. Well, aside from Bean, but Bean's out sleeping in the forest.
Hmm.
Yeah. I hate
forest.
to ask this of you.
Go on.
I don't really mind if you want to like roll for it and make it like semi-random at least for now until you figure out like what you want to do. What's the phase of the moon?
The phase at the moon at the moment would be. Let me pull this up on my phone. Because I don't want it to be a full moon, but I want it to be something quite close or akin to it. And my brain is having the derp on what like the 3/4 moon is.
Waxing,
Waning.
waning.
Phasings of the phases of the moon. New moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon. It's the waxing gibbous. Gibbous.
Okay.
It's gibbous.
Waxing nibbus.
Waxing gibbon.
Given.
So yes, that is the phase of the moon. This is a waxing gibbous. Not entirely sure why that's important, but I'm sure that as a DM I will find out eventually.
Yes, yes. I've been meaning to type this in so that you can look at it whenever you want, but like the bio stuff that I have for Bean. So I'm like looking at my paper and like reading and typing, and I just got to the part about the moon, and I was like, damn,
Okay.
well, we'll talk about that.
So I'm assuming that for now nothing
It's
is happening
safe,
with
yeah.
beans.
No,
Okay.
no, we're good. I think the phase of the moon that would be an issue has already passed, so we good.
I can't believe Bean is aware for that fourth dimension break is
Hey,
happening.
hey, he is not. How dare
It's
you?
a full moon. The rocking chair is just summoned. But
And
yes,
just a whole cottage forms in the woods.
that's
Oh
why he
my.
was trying to. That's why you were trying to find a certain tree.
Yes, that's perfect. Make it a treehouse.
But yes, the rest of you who
Misskiff
were at the tavern bar will see Cog enter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that you remember to pick up the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll leave you all to it.
What were we talking about last time? I don't even remember what we were talking about last time. What was going on in the tavern?
People's history.
Something was going on.
It
Yes.
was talking about people's history. And
Who are we
Misskiff
on?
explained the visions she had.
If I recall right, you're talking about the history of Unusor and potentially a little bit of Au-Zuk's as well.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, there was a bit about
Oh,
Misskiff in there because of the
Screwberg.
visions as well.
All right. So we've got what appears to be an ex-dragon worshipper, two dragon worshippers. Sorry, what exactly is your genus? It's not rodent. It's
If you mean in this form, I'm a Sable.
Do you
But,
prefer going by Sable or Tiefling? What do you prefer being introduced as?
well, I was a Tiefling, but it's probably better not to introduce me like that here.
Sabling.
Ah, so a
Sable.
Sabling or Tiefbull?
Let me just do a general group roll for that.
I mean, Pete, they already know. In the tavern,
And
like
plus,
it's a thing.
They do, but each
talking
time
to
it's
the
mentioned, there is just like dirty glances over at the party.
All right, and then.
also remember Misskiff's side of the conversation is completely telepathic, so
But
It is,
my
but
question for all of you. Yeah, but it's the Marquis saying the words
yeah, I
too,
know.
though.
I'm just saying
But
her side of the conversation is just telepathic.
that's why no one's acting on it, because it's only the Marquis that keeps saying Tiefling. But also, the Marquis is one of the largest beings in this tavern at the moment.
12 foot tall, 2 tons. The Marquis does have his pipe out, by the way, which is blowing bubbles instead of smoke. But he's like, but the real question is, do any of you know how to make a mean chicken and waffles?
I know how to make a muffin.
What's a muffin?
Maybe it's like a little cake.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Does it have meat?
No, it's like grains and sugar.
So
and
it's an
fruit.
alcohol.
No.
Oh, Cog, you're back. Where were you?
I went out to the ship. The sisters.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. How were they doing?
Same as usual. They did take off with
Wonderful.
the brain dog.
Oh, good. Well, it's in a better place, literally, physically, metaphysically, whatever you want to put with it. On that note, though, Cog, Misskiff here, Misskiff here is explaining to me the wonders of the muffin beverage. Go on.
It's a food.
It's like cake.
Yes, exactly. That's what she said.
You said
It's
beverage.
Exactly.
It's a food that you eat, not drink.
Continue.
Well, it's sweet and you can have different fruits in it or chocolate. Granny No One used to put spells in them.
So it's magically delicious is what you're telling me.
Well, hers did other things, like not good things, but you can put spells in them, I guess.
The Ella of Salmon.
Ugh.
There it is. Well, we got muffins. Anybody else? I mean, come on. Somebody else here has to have some sort of wonderful food idea.
Cooking's kind of hard when you don't have thumbs.
Oh, speaking of which, Cog, would you like to make me give some thumbs?
Robotic thumbs.
Yes.
I don't see
I
how.
think it's pretty fantastic.
They were mentioning it last time. I just don't have
Yes.
thumbs.
Is you don't even have to surgically attach them. You could just make it like an apparatus that you could tie on or something. Probably would make drinking muffins a little bit easier.
I mean, I can always, like, do this sort of thing.
And she kind of makes a little gesture with her paw and kind of whispers something, and a little ghostly floating hand appears.
Huh.
Wait, why is it a hand? Would it
Um,
not be a paw?
I don't know. It's always just appeared as a hand.
Marquis is
Fascinating.
poking it.
It's just going through it. It's you can kind of feel it. Like there's some resistance, and that just goes through.
Some sort of mage summoned magical hand. Interesting.
The spell is literally called Mage Hand.
Hmm.
Oh, that's a far-fetched of what I was going to call it. I was going to call it appendage of wizard.
Oh, this is one of the first ones Granny no one's taught me.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, that's a problem. I'll fix that later. But interesting. Is anybody else able to summon hands?
I mean,
Interesting.
you would know through having seen it in battle that technically Sanna can summon up hands.
That's right! Sanna, you can summon hands. How do you do
Hmm.
that? Is it the same thing?
I don't know. I don't know how ever that works. I say as I point at the mage hand.
It just waves.
Wait, are you doing that, or is it sentient?
No, I told it what to do.
Ah.
Hmm.
So wait. So Sanna, your hands are, well, I suppose yours are full-on arms, aren't they? Maybe this is the child version of what you have.
I don't think so. This can't really do that much. It can
Well,
open
I mean,
things or pick things up.
a hand is but a baby arm.
The bartender who's just been over here and all this will just let out a light chuckle and be like, No. What you've both got there is child's play. This is what you call the real deal. And she'll just like click her fingers, and you'll see a hand scuttle up and just rest on her shoulder.
Oh.
Oh, is that necromancy?
It's cousin it.
That's the
That's
thing.
the wrong
Hmm.
cousin.
like-
It's the hairy one.
It's the hairy one that goes.
Cousin it, the one that for some reason they got Snoop Dogg to voice in the recent films.
Yeah, they did. Also, the fact that in all iterations he has a child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
He's a pretty good dad too, apparently. Like, gets done books.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of a thing that all the Adams tend to be good parents.
she'll
Oh
just,
yeah.
she'll just look to the crawling claw, I believe they're called, or something, is it?
Yes.
On her shoulder and be like, I don't know. Never really looked into the hows and what's it of it. All I know is we had two patrons in here that used to come in here. One of you more magically inclined people, and a thief. Thief tried to steal from the magic user. The magic user took umbrage to that and cut off their hand, and well, this was presented to me as a gift.
I can summon some tentacles.
Remind me to keep an eye on that thing.
I believe that's more for the brothel down the road.
For the
Well,
what?
I can't summon them in here. They'd hurt people. But I could summon the tentacles.
I mean, what are tentacles but octopus hands? And feet.
And arms.
I
But
can
oddly
also
enough,
make a
housing
really
for brains
pretty.
as well.
I can also make a really pretty bolt that changes loads of colors, but it can hurt people if I throw it at them.
Sorry, you can make a really pretty boat?
Bolt. Bolt.
Oh, I heard boat, and I was like, oh, yes, well,
B-O-L-T.
that's beautiful. And then you said, oh, I can throw it at people. And I got this imagery of you. No offense, but you are rather small. You may be strong, but strength and size is comparative.
I'm
Picking
not
up a large
small.
massive boat. Although, if you were to summon a boat, would it be Sable size, or would it be normal person size?
I really don't know.
Interesting. It's these questions that
I
keep me up at
cannot.
night, not that I actually sleep.
I guess I could do this. And kind of makes a little light boat with prestidigitation.
Oh, that's fantastic! It's Sable size. That's the answer to my question.
Well, it's a lot smaller than me. I can't make it that big. But
Well then.
technically,
No,
this is hard even for
I-
prestidigitation to do.
Oh, Cog, you missed out. We had conversations. I think you left a little bit before the conversations. We talked with name.
mm.
That's your cue to give me the name of the lady that we talked to, whoever remembers her name.
Fish lady.
Fish Lady, yes, we talked with Fish Lady about
Briny.
Briny, yes, Fish Lady Briny. We had a nice, lovely chat with I think she was a
The
hag.
hag.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yes, a hag. Yes, a hag named Briny Fish Lady. A weird first name and an even weirder last name, but I suppose thematic. But yeah, so we had this chat with her talking about our infestation problem of fey creatures and whatnot, and apparently the creature is not originally from the Feywild, and it's hunting things. How wonderful! Well, a specific thing. And we don't know what it is. That's even better. But I've got a gift for you that I can't take out right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Stranger danger.
stranger
What?
danger.
What?
Strangers aren't dangerous. Strangers are simply friends that we have yet to make. And if they prove not to be our friends, well, you know what to do.
What if they never chose to not be your friend?
Hmm.
And yes,
Speaking of which,
this is your inner voice speaking to you right now.
speaking of inner voices, Clog, what happened to your backpack?
Reaches around to see that the little shark plushie is gone.
Was distracted when leaving building or leaving boat.
Ah. It appears that they may have gone off somewhere.
Ah, yes. Bags do like to wander sometimes. Yes. Well, I don't know about you lovely lots, but I think it's getting around to my bedtime. And do we have anything more that we wish to talk about stratagems and tacticians and the origins of muffins and hands? A handy muffin.
I'll
Whew.
just let the frickin' mage hand disappear.
And muffins.
Oh, goodbye.
Lisa's given up talking about legs.
Ah, yeah. Ooh, actually, wait. Could you?
I can't do legs. Can
Well,
only
I
do
was going to
hand.
ask if you could do a foot. I mean, there's not much difference between a hand and a foot, is there?
I
Can
think that's a
only
question
do
for the brothel down the road.
The spell
only does hand.
Sorry, what was that, Uno?
Nothing.
Something about a brothel.
Oh, good heavens, are you into that kind of stuff? I thought you were a holy man.
Holy people have been into weirder things.
Well, he
Well,
is
I mean, he's
into
made several
holies.
holy people.
He is into holies.
There is a... Are you hearing that?
Hearing what?
I don't know. There's a sick and perverted voice in my head coming out with innuendos.
Dangerous innuendos.
I'll
Yes,
become
it's
you
laughing now.
windows.
Claps the paws together.
Yes.
Kind of makes no noise because it's paws and little toe beans.
I imagine it would make a clickety clack with your nails.
My nails mostly retract.
So I
Oh
imagine
yeah.
it's
Like,
less like a clap and more like a
Sable
thump.
can't fully retract their nails, but they can partially retract them.
Fascinating.
It's like,
Right. Should we get some sleep? And then tomorrow we can figure out what the fuck we're doing. Because we
Sounds
have
good.
some stuff about Tiamat cultists and strange pale skinned people
Hmm.
from visions.
Wonderful. I don't remember any of this. Were we talking about it?
I had visions when I touched the dead boy's brain.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember you talking about muffins and hands. And that's about the last thing I remember.
Well, I had visions about Tiamat cultists in a tavern, and then
Oh,
a
yes.
court
Well,
of really pale
say-
skinned people who were keeping basically my body in a cage.
I mean, same difference, really. Tiamat cultists are obsessed with their hand sigils. Just like, it's like little T-Rex arms. No offense, Uno, but you gotta admit sometimes some of the sigils that some of your fellow followers make are a little bit... I can't even do them. My hands are too big. Also, I don't have 5 fingers. I've only got 4, including my thumb. Which is
Thumbs are
weird.
fingers.
I'm not entirely sure why. The evolution of my species is strange. Anyways, yes, I believe it is bedtime. I'm getting tired.
Okay.
Misskiff will be sleeping on Sanna again. She does not wish to risk being rolled over on by Unusor.
Which does give Unusor more room to sleep.
Unusor does toss
I
and turn.
take up no fucking
Yeah,
room.
it's us.
I'll toss
I
you.
would
Oh,
I would like to state, as I don't remember the sleeping patterns, because I'm in Marquis mode, which means I'm scatterbrained, just as scatterbrained as he is. If anybody's sleeping in the same room as Marquis, he does sleep with his eyes open.
I believe I
So,
said it was Karga and Au-Zuk that was stopping with you for the night.
yes, well, the Cog's used to it. I don't know if ours cares, but the Marquis does sleep with his eyes open.
Now the question is, do you talk in your sleep?
Au-Zuk is.
Actually, no. This is the only time he doesn't even snore. This is the only time the Marquis is dead silent.
He just stands
Mm.
there. He doesn't even lie down. He just stands there, eyes open.
He doesn't even lay down. He's just like full force, just
He
standing
just
up,
enters
eyes
and
open.
A-holes.
Basically.
Hmm.
I don't believe in lying down to sleep. That's when they get you. That's just giving
Yeah.
more money to the bed people.
Lying down, blankets and pillows, those are but figments of the imagination. Who needs a bed when you have oxygen?
I am just waiting for the Marquis to start breaking or to continue breaking walls and eventually breaking the 4th one.
I just imagine it is a case of,
Yes, well, you and me both.
do you know how much time is wasted in a year with you having to get out of bed? Whereas if you just wake up already standing up, it saves so much time on the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you all head to your rooms for the night.
Hmm.
Do we have to make that little certain Misskiff roll?
Probably.
Make me the Misskiff roll.
Which roll? What do I need to roll? What did we say it was?
If I recall right, it was a wisdom check. Or was it a
Was it?
wisdom save?
A wizzy doom.
I don't
I have
know.
no
I
fucking
literally
idea.
cannot load up the last video when it
We'll
happened.
say a wisdom save for now.
Yes, we do need
I
to
need to
write
change
down
my name.
fully rules for this.
Yes.
Need to change your name. All right.
Yeah. Cause my name was on Cody.
19. If I recall right, yeah, that means that you stay. You're fine.
Hmm. Oh no, we never really came up rules for this. It was
We
just a hey,
didn't.
let's roll, see what fucking happens.
It's gonna be one of those things where I'm gonna look it up on the video after this and be like, ah, no, it was a percentile rule.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Actually, now that I think about it, it might have been a percentile rule, but fuck it.
Oh well.
We will come
No,
up with stronger rules for this.
no disturbing Sanna tonight.
No disturbing Sanna. However, let's see whose room is being disturbed tonight. So, I'm going to need perception checks from Au-Zuk, Cog, and Marquis.
Perception.
His perception's not very good.
Despite sleeping with his eyes open, he sees nothing.
Okay.
That's why he
And
sees nothing.
I'll say this,
You ever
given
had
the
your eyes
message
open
you've
for
just
extended periods of time?
given the message you just sent me, Ranna, you can forego the perception if you wish to do that instead.
I would
Yeah,
like
keep
to
your
do
eyes
that
open
instead.
for like
Okay.
extended periods of time. Your eyes just blur.
So, Marquis, you're fast asleep. You don't hear this.
Oh, yes.
Uh, we'll get to what you're doing in a second, Cog. Au-Zuk.
Au-Zuk, probably headed. Headed doesn't sound right, so my brain's having a stroke. Probably went to bed a little earlier because, mostly because I didn't really have anything to say that entire conversation, and it justifies it. But mostly to get the alcohol out of his system.
That's fair. But you do hear a slight rapping at the window.
Au-Zuk will get up, yawn, stretch, grab his cutlass, approach window.
And as you approach the window, there seems to be just a raven watching in through the window, staring at you.
Does it say nevermore?
Opens window. What do you want?
The question is more, what do you want?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I had personally picked the bedroom with your own personal innkeeper's, shop window. What do you mean, what do I want?
Let's just say I've been keeping an eye on things for a while now.
Who are you? You are a bird. Isn't
am.
exactly the conversation I expected to be having with a bird.
I am, and yet I am not. I
Oh,
am
don't do
merely
this.
a conduit at the moment. Someone who may have your interests in mind, or at least the interests of what your party, your group, your traveling compatriots are after.
I hear someone, something, that is choosing every single word that comes out of their beak carefully. Forgive me if I find that a little strange at what I imagine is about 2 a.m. in the morning.
To be fair, it is wise to be quite suspicious. After all, you are dealing with a higher demon. So, well, you're dealing with a higher demon in that you're trying to stop him. Damother, I believe he's called.
Well, I'm glad that information spread around. particularly fast rate.
I said I've been watching for a while. And given...
You're not exactly helping your case here. I don't really appreciate being watched by birds.
I said, think of it less as being watched by a bird and more by another higher being. One that has your interest in mind.
Right. Just give me a second. He rubs a bit more sleep out of his eye. Goes over to the side of it. Probably grabs a glass of water he kept there. Takes a drink and goes, right.
That's a good because grabs a glass of water, takes a drink, smashes the glass on the bird's head. Now bugger off if you're trying to sleep.
So, right. I've got a little bit more going on. Right. I'm going to make an insight on this bird. Now that I've got my my wits about me. And I think it's kind of a... Now that he's waking up a bit, it is beginning to dawn on Au-Zuk that this isn't very normal.
Yep,
I
make
don't
me
know
an
why.
insight.
I'm just imagining like the moment Dometer it says Dometer, a little portal opens up and a very angry rabbit demon's like, where?
Given that
So
the
with an
beak
insight of
has
18.
given the beak has never been moving throughout this entire time of it talking, and the air of authority that it speaks with. Yeah, sure, they may have their own ulterior motives, but you know the old saying, the enemy of your enemy is potentially a second enemy, but also an ally for now.
Sort of takes another drink from the water and goes, now, while I do not believe that you are a direct threat, I am a little alarmed that you this time, so perhaps a little more information to go on might ease things up a little here.
Well, given that, if my information is correct in that you're trying to take down his generals, his trusted confidants, you're going to be having to travel between different worlds and realms, no?
Yes, we seem to have that relatively covered.
But do you know where you're going exactly? I know that
We
you've
appear to be dealing with it one threat at a time, although more information will be appreciated. I
can
believe we're currently dealing with what appears to be some sort of large fae, but not actually a fae creature. It's gotten complicated.
I can help out with that a bit. And it's going to shake its leg, and what seems to be a small tube tied to it is released and falls clattering to the ground at your feet.
I'm going to Arcana it, because it may be cursed, and I'm not stupid. Not that I'm very good at Arcana. Fuck me, I'm just 18 tonight, it seems.
That's 3 18s on a damn roll. You look at this, and well, it does give off a bit of magical readings. You can't sense any kind of curse lingering on this. In fact, it looks to be a hybrid of magic and technology. Well, seeing the ship that you came in on, it could do with perhaps some upgrades. This should help you locate those certain places. Essentially put, it's a condensed star map.
Looks at it. Looks at the raven. Looks back at it. It's not exactly my ship to put this in, but it is good that you talk to me and not the hippo. Never would have heard the end of it. Would have asked you exactly what kind of bird you are and whether you were African or American.
The raven will look to the sleeping Marquis, then back to you. Oh, we are fully aware of how the Marquis is.
I'll give it to his robotic companion, Cog, I believe. He/she/it/they/ robots are weird. Whatever. I'll give it to Cog.
Very well. And if you need a name to go by, just tell them this was a gift from the Shadow Mother.
Cody rips open what reality. What?
19 this time.
It's
So
more than
upon
just an
hearing
exam.
dodgiest name in existence, what am I thinking?
What I'm going to need you to do is roll me a religion.
A religion. We are a
Hmm.
high roller tonight.
You are. You know that the Shadow Mother was.
Shadow mommy. We're all thinking it. I just said it before I
I know, and you broke my mind with it.
Somehow, I think you're the first person to say that within like 4 fucking years.
You know that
I'm pretty sure
she.
Kai says it every night, but continue.
You know that she's a god, or at least was a god. Used to be quite a powerful god of the underworld. Used to make her own fiends, in fact, her own little.
Literally called the mother of demons.
Yes. However, rumors are abound that some years ago she lost those powers and lost her throne to another.
With that 19 insight, I can be definitive that this is actually the Shadow Mother I'm talking to, and not someone masquerading.
You're quite sure that it is. Just purely. Should I be concerned? Okay, I will ignore that. You're pretty sure that's the Shadow Mother, mainly because even with her not being a god anymore, there's still that long-standing rumor of do not invoke the Shadow's mother's name when you don't mean to. Otherwise, shit's gonna go bad for you, essentially. But so, it's the same kind of thing with be careful when invoking demons' names. Also, be
It's
careful
like
when invoking her name.
the reason that it goes bad when you say it is because tiny name ears appear.
Anytime she is near.
She'll, Au-Zuk will look. Au-Zuk, I never quite decided exactly how to pronounce that, but anyway. Au-Zuk will, sort of, look. Huh. Will, sort of look a little bit, I think the term I'm looking for is, unimpressed, but not in a. To say that he's speaking with a god, he reacts very, very neutrally. Just, okay. He's just sort of taking a. Very
There is
well.
some
Is there anything else?
just a hammer hanging over his head. Like
There is one other thing.
Just waits for a response. Well, a continuation, I suppose.
See that this is done, and I will see that you and your group here are rewarded for your services.
I'm sorry, you're going to reward us for installing the star map.
No, I mean taking out these generals and potentially taking Damada down as well.
I should hope so. Doesn't sound like it's going to be an easy or a quick task.
It must be, in fact, I'm pretty sure not all of you are going to make it out alive.
That would be the danger of facing well, an astral plane level threat.
It is much more than just that.
Would you care to elaborate? Or are we playing the pronoun game here?
No, I will elaborate. While he is an astral plane's a level of threat, it goes beyond that in the fact of he is. How best to describe this? He is an anomaly to this timeline.
An anomaly to this timeline.
Think about it this one way. Everything when it comes to creation, you can always purr back to someone else. You can always purr your creation back to, well, initially your mother and father, and then to those that cursed you like this.
You are saying that he doesn't have parents.
What I'm saying is, he has technically created himself. He is
What she's
literally
saying
a
is he's a
wa-
cunt.
he is literally a walking paradox.
There are many ways to explain a walking paradox. There are simply ways that you may not have even answered the question yet. Maybe he already existed. Maybe he's always existed.
Oh, he existed in a different form, but it was his future self that caused himself to fall and become that in the first place, thus ensuring a cycle where he will always be.
Sort of a power, some sort of powerful insurance, you might say.
Most likely, yes.
That does appear to make sense. He appears to be a creature of great demonic power. And while there are many powerful demons across the multiverse, very few seem to have such dominion over multiple realms. Even some gods fail to reach that power. That power. I suppose that
His,
makes sense.
his influence has been felt over many a different area. Of course, he does lead several legions down there, but on top of that, he isn't above making deals and bargains and advancing civilizations on this realm and others, or even making more personal deals and bargains for extended life or power.
Believable.
All I'm saying is, if someone comes forward with a deal for you, make sure you know who you're talking to before accepting it. He will try and take on many guises and many names. And I do get the irony of me saying this when you didn't trust me at first.
If it wasn't obvious from my general demeanor, you haven't exactly gained my entire trust yet, but I would be lying to admit that your information does not seem genuine. I just find it. I have long since been taught to understand all intentions around you, and I do not understand yours. What's your gain from this? There must be one.
Well, as you may have heard, I lost my position of power some years back with
And
that
I
role
presume
happening
that
in.
you intend to take his spot.
There is always going to need to be leaders down there. Better
Of
someone with
course,
a better grasp on things than him.
regardless of if I decide to trust you or not, understanding that managing to remove this large threat would leave a power vacuum very big indeed. Suppose knowing who's going into it is in everyone's interest. Can't deny that.
Oh, trust me, I'm pretty sure that even though my relationship with her isn't that good, my daughter down there should be able to help with this situation. The one that
By
I
down
can't
there,
see
are you
it.
referring to hell, surface of this
Hell,
realm? Alright, just making sure we're not getting any more random women out of portals.
the dawn will be approaching soon, and with it my power will wane once more. You
Your
may
power is greater at night. It's useful to know.
shadows That's how they work. Well, shadows are visible in the light, but that just makes them stronger in the dark when they are unseen.
Surely you cannot create them in the dark. Surely that you need light anyway.
There is
The
always a
point
bit of
has
light in
stood.
the dark, but you get what I mean. We may meet again, Au-Zuk. And she will
Hopefully.
flutter off with that.
Cody just down in hell doing like the sneeze thing, like
I think someone's talking about me.
So someone's talking shit on the surface.
Turn around to check the other two are still asleep.
turn
Marquis
around and
is in his statuesque state of standing there, absolutely silent, eyes wide open. But you do like the hand wave in front of his eyes. No, he's flat out asleep.
I would like to say that at this point, like the hat, you can see like a little window is open in the hat, and Minicog is inside with like tea and like a cigarette.
As for
Won't ask.
as for Colca themselves, well, here's where we get to the interesting part, because you said you want to do a certain thing rather than taking part in that.
Yeah.
You want to partake.
Oh my.
You want to partake in a bit of. I'll let you describe this. Remember, you don't have to give away too many spoilers for what
I
this
swear
would
to God, if
entail.
all I hear is leaky creaking coming from your bed, I'm going to be concerned.
Cog likes to
Oh no.
dream watch.
So my question is, do you have control over who you choose to dream watch? Or am I making a random roll to see who you dream watch?
If Cog's really worried about who he's going to be looking into, he would be able to pay attention. They would be able to pay attention to it. But
Okay,
Cog's not too particularly worried, so you can make a roll.
okay. So, one, let me just go through these here. Let's count it down as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be, that's 6. Let's roll a d8 and
Yep.
see what we get. You got a 7.
Hmm.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, what would Unusor be dreaming about currently?
That is a very good question.
Mhm.
Mm, hmm.
Ever watched Tarkovsky's Primal?
I suppose it would just be. Trying to think of how I could articulate exposition. My brain stopped working there for a moment. Fucking hell. Yeah, I guess probably just dreaming of piles upon piles of treasures, gold, trinkets, simple pleasures, or at least what he perceives simple pleasures to be.
So basically, just
Yeah,
masses of physical wealth, gold.
not just physical wealth, just anything of any perceived value.
Yep. So
He
essentially,
just
put
wants
like
to gather.
a gathering of gold, platinum, various valuable gems and rubies. And all in the middle of it is Unusor stood on it. Almost like it's Unusor's own personal mountain
Hmm.
as they just look over their vast gathered horde. And I want you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please, Unusor.
Oh boy. Wisdom. Save. Oh, I'm good at those.
14. So as you just stood there in your dream, just wandering through your vast collection, just picking up very valuable artifacts, a large diamond, just out of the corner of your eye, you catch something, just like a powder blue blur, just darting off through your horde. Each time you try and look to follow it, it's just in the corner of your vision again. But you do get the feeling that someone is indeed watching you.
Do I have any control of my own actions in the stream?
You do. It's still your dream.
Mm-hmm. Gonna roll a dice to see. Okay. Unusor would bellow a threat. Warn them that this is his. If whatever's there doesn't leave, it will be burned to a crisp.
Still remains there, just always slightly out of sight, just on the peripheral vision, essentially put.
It's a freaking peripheral jumper.
I mean, that's how I'm imagining it, just like the powder blue blur, just always there, and when you turn, it still just remains in the corner of the vision.
You saying blue blur? I just think Sonic.
You're too slow.
Hmm. Okay. Let's do this. Fuck. Okay. Yeah. Cog's paying attention, aren't they?
Well, Cog's paying attention, yeah.
Damn it. All right. You. Don't you love second guessing your decisions at the worst possible moment? So yeah. Unusor would thrash about, roaring threats. And how is Cog perceiving this? Are they perceiving it from as an observer or from Unusor's perspective?
More so as an observer, really.
Okay. Then yeah, you'd see the pile of gold, and Unusor would be seeing themselves as a like a mighty red dragon, and they're just thrashing around trying to catch this blue blur, whatever the fuck it is.
Blue blur, speed spy.
Running around at the speed of sound. Yeah. He's very clearly unhappy about this thing's intrusion on his domain.
There's random ass blue things in here with my money and shit.
Gotta get rid of the blue. Becky doesn't like blue.
Got her yellow.
Bitches love yellow.
Blue and yellow.
Oh, blue.
Well, I suppose
Tiamat
Cog
said
gets-
my stick wasn't big enough. What?
Huh. Rolf Harris is dead.
Who?
Rip. Rob Harris?
Rolf Harris.
Rolf.
Who's
Uh,
that?
entertainer that used to be over here like in the 90s or something. I believe he used to be originally Australian and then got convicted of being a pedo.
Yeah.
Oof.
Just came up on Facebook. They died.
It seems to happen quite a lot with TV personalities in the UK from the 90s.
Yeah.
America's not much better.
Yeah.
This is
Let's be
true.
real. It's just the 90s.
Yeah.
The 90s were a weird soup.
Come to the 90s, we had wacky, crazy cartoons that would gross out humor. Neon colors. Mm.
Hmm.
It's a good show.
Also, Leigh, look in general.
I saw it. So, you're focusing on this as you keep seeing this blur go about.
Hmm.
But was there more to that, or?
There are. I just needed to just ask Ranna a quick question because I forgot about it. But you're seeing the blue blur just keep going around. It seems to not really respond to your threats. Almost as if whatever this thing is, while it is an observer in your dreams, it knows that you can't affect it in its dreams, while it can't affect you.
Hmm.
But the last minutes before you find yourself waking up, in the midst of the blur, you see two darker circles within, a midnight blue, with kind of glow around what seems to be a squiggled iris in each. And then you find yourself waking up as day has arisen.
And
Mm-hmm.
the blur is no more.
I have taken note of this.
Good.
But yes, it is now daytime. Everyone starts to wake up. By everyone starts to wake up, I mean everyone slowly, groggily starts to get out of bed. Aside from Marquis, who just reactivates, essentially, but it's just
He's doing the
stood there
Warforged
silent for
thing
ages
without
and then
being a
just goes, well,
Warforged.
that was a good night's sleep.
Marquis was the robot all along.
I mean, as Marquis does wake up, he does like just lift up his hat and take a teacup from the top of his head.
Just imagine like a hippo-shaped animatronic popping back into life.
Good morning.
I just
Morning.
associate the Marquis with a lot of Alice in Wonderland characters now.
Yeah,
Morning.
He's like the caterpillar and the Mad Hatter at the same time.
do you know what else I get vibes from him from because of the cartoon? The Dodo,
Dodo.
because he also had the pipe and like the little hat and everything.
Yeah.
Cog, do you mind if I speak with you in a little bit? Cog?
Hmm.
After Cog?
Oh, you automatically assumed it was Cog. Hmm.
Oh, we're all getting up.
Yes.
Do you mind if we talk a little bit?
About.
We can talk about that after.
All right.
Au-Zuk will go and get breakfast if he can.
Okay.
If this place does not sell breakfast, Au-Zuk will go and find a bakery.
You were told that breakfast came as part of your rooms.
Hooray!
So, as you head out of your room, who would be the first one out of the room over in what we like to call Room B, aka Sanna, Unusor, and Misskiff?
Anna is an early riser, so I don't know
Misskiff,
about the rest.
Misskiff is just kind of dead to the world. Like, even if Sanna just got up, she'd just kind of roll off and just be like,
To be fair, I'm assuming that Unusor is still probably just having his brief moments of what was just happening in that dream. What the hell is that about? So,
When Unusor sleeps good, they are lazy. And that's even though the dream was unpleasant, they're very much having a lazy morning.
yeah,
so
quite literally just dead sleep.
Oh, probably Sanna.
yeah. So Au-Zuk,
She just uncoils from around the Misskiff.
yep, I'll call from around Misskiff. You just quickly double check to make sure she is still her tiny size, which she is. Just having probably one of those brief moments of being like, so was that other night just a dream when she was bigger, or is that a thing?
Who knows?
And as you do
But
leave your
Misskiff, like, if you lift Misskiff up off you while you uncoil, she'd just, like, literally just be flopped. Like, it's...
I'm just imagining that one Owl House scene with King in the papoose. Get so dangly.
Everybody do the flop.
But yeah, as you do exit your room, you do bump into Au-Zuk in the corridor.
Morning.
Waves continues.
How much sleep would you say Au-Zuk got between that midnight conversation and now?
Au-Zuk is a very well-oiled machine. A little bit of time spent during the night not sleeping will not have any visible effect on him, probably.
Okay.
It would take a bit more than that. He's had a lot of experience
Yep.
with working with whatever sleep he can get.
So as you head down, you make it to the bottom of the stairs. And as you do so,
Breakfast is thrown at me.
the floor is kind of damp and sticky.
Oh my.
Oh my.
I love that there's now just silence after that. The floor is damp and sticky. Au-Zuk has
Floor
no
is what
reaction.
sticky. To be honest, no. Probably just quickly see what it could potentially be.
You look
And
down.
if he doesn't see anything that's super off-putting, he'll just continue.
I mean, you stood in what seems to be a small pool of blood.
Au-Zuk will turn into combat Au-Zuk mode. Draws the cutlass.
As you do so, you'll just get a shout over from the party and they'll be like, hey, if that's not going to be used to be cutting meat or bread, put that away.
Sort of pull. Sort of, in fact, he's going to make an intelligence check. Au-Zuk remembers what kind of a tavern is run here and goes, apologies.
That's fine, I was meant
You've
to
got
get...
to remember that I am not used to waking up in taverns with blood on the floor.
It's fine, I was meant to get this cleaned up sooner, but we've had a bit of an issue.
Oh dear, what happened?
How best to put this? A quarter of the town has gone kind of vacant, I guess is the best way to put it.
A quarter of the town has gone vacant.
Yeah,
How did that
What
happen?
kind of vacant?
as in everyone
Vacant-minded.
that was there is now not there.
That's alarming. That's beyond alarming.
At
And the
first we-
blood?
Oh, the blood was just someone getting a bit rowdy in here.
Oh, okay.
So, they got a punch to the face.
That's quite a puddle of blood for being punched in the face.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a large face.
Fair enough.
You know how some dwarves can be. Apparently, because the town went vacant with everything that was happening, this dwarf wanted to blame your lads for it. And I'm not
Fair.
gonna let I'm not gonna
Nothing to
let
do
some
with us, but
dwarf
fair.
I'm not gonna let some dwarf talk bad about people that helped fight yesterday. Especially when the dwarf was lazy and didn't.
I appreciate it, but we probably could have handled him. You didn't need to get your floor messy.
I'm used to the
I
floor getting
mean,
messy anyway.
if I was about to say, if they didn't deal with the dwarf, we would, and I think the floor would still be messy.
Yes,
Depends which one of us would have dealt with it.
the difference is, at least the floor is messy down here. If you lot had dealt with it, would have also been including like bed cleanup and such. This
I
is a lot
don't.
easier.
I would have been a little calmer than that, but alright.
It all
Worry
depends on
about
which
it.
room he would have gone in first. Trust me, I've seen that large dragon folk with you.
That is a very valid point. I'm sure that would have woken up Marquis, who would have forgotten again, or continued to completely ignore the existence of walls and doors.
I'm just thankful we've got that blessing on this place that helps prepare things. But yeah, we thought it might have been that thing you were kept being warned about that we had heard about as well, that fake creature that comes about destroying places. But given the buildings are all intact, we don't think it's that. It's like someone or something just came in and either took them all or just lured them away.
We were dealing with Fae yesterday. That is certainly, from what I've heard, part of their MO.
You think something could have escaped and just bided its time?
We're not all busy today, are we? Looks back at the party. Whoever's conscious and actually downstairs yet.
Well, Sanna would be right behind you, and I'm assuming would Cog and Marquis be making their way down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Marquis has already made his way down.
Yep.
Sorry, what's going on?
About a quarter of the town has gone missing, Marquis.
Oh! 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 Oh!
Oh.
Are you sure they're not at a party?
No, I believe the concerned O was the correct O, Marquis.
Oh, all right. So, oh. Oh? Oh.
Hmm.
I'm sure we can find some time to investigate it. I would hate to leave such a travesty in my wake. First, however, I should eat breakfast so I don't starve while doing it.
I'd rather get it out and prepared for you all. And she'll just kind of look over to Cog and be like, I'm not exactly sure what you eat.
I can eat normal food.
Not
Yeah, I
exactly
don't
sure
know.
how. Oop, go on.
I don't know how long
She
it's gonna
grinds
take
on it.
for the other two in my room to wake up. They seem pretty much out of it.
That means
Do
they'll
you
have
want
to.
me to give it a try?
As long as you keep walls intact.
Walls are but figments of the imagination. Marquis starts walking up the stairs. Not
Well,
sure what you terrestrials are on about with walls.
As Marquis walks upstairs, Au-Zuk will look at Cog and go, just come and sit with me a moment.
Alright.
I had a visitor last night. I'm not sure how he I suppose it would be she, didn't wake up you or the Marquis. I figured it would be best to talk to you because Marquis can be a little bit erratic at times.
Hmm.
She called herself the Shadow Mother, I believe it was. A religious figure of some general import on this plane, I believe.
Uh,
Demonic in nature to an extent, I believe. Well,
Sanna,
regardless.
Sanna and Cog,
Hmm.
you two quickly make me religion checks. Let's see if you've heard of the Shadow Mother before.
Religion.
Ooh. That is a dirt 20.
You've both heard of her. You've also both heard the tales that she may not be currently a god, as she did lose her position of power.
I did call her a figure of religious import.
Indeed.
Ah,
Hmm.
loophole. Yeah. Sides of loophole. Cried on it.
Your mom's a loophole.
She is.
Yes, what did she want?
She seems to be interested in taking up the mantle, the spot that Damodar currently holds, when we inevitably leave behind that vacuum of power.
Well, I mean, it was
Why?
originally her spot. If rumors are to be held right.
I believe I'm not that well acquainted with her. To be honest, she came in the form of a raven, I believe a familiar, and our conversation was very neutral, admittedly. However, in addition to being willing to reward us should we complete this task that we are electing to complete regardless of her involvement, which I suppose we can appreciate, she gave me this. It'll put the tube on the table. She claims that this is a star map that, from what I believe, has the data of where our generals may be, or at least some information about them.
Cog will pick up the star map.
I bring this to you, of course. We are on your and the Marquis's ship. I'm not sure quite how it entirely works, but I figured if I was to give this to the Marquis, I'm not exactly sure how he'd react, or even if he would believe it was not a figment of his imagination. I haven't quite sussed him yet.
He may have just given it to me, to be honest.
Cog, you can roll for me an Arcana check on this.
Alright. Arcana. $15.
Yeah, pretty much seems like what Au-Zuk has just told you, that this does indeed seem to be a star map. Search your put if you can find out the coordinations, punch them into this, and it will give you the flight navigation towards it.
Yes, this is a star map.
That is good to hear. I'm glad to know that I wasn't wasting my time talking to a bird last night.
I mean, some birds have very good information.
Of course, but when I say a bird, I'm not talking about an Aarakocra or an owlin here.
Oh, I know. I was talking about normal birds, too.
I don't suppose you're a druid, perchance?
Brain stuff.
That has to be the most vague answer I've gotten. Anyway,
So,
at this point, it's in your hands. If you believe that it's wise to show the Marquis go forth. I just haven't figured that you are the more predictable of the pair of you.
well, this is going on.
Right then.
And speaking of birds, Marquis, you make your way up to the room where Unusor and Misskiff are still sleeping. And you
Sorry, not sorry.
open up a hole in the wall rather than, opening up the door. She just kind of walk through the wall. And the first sight that catches your eye, aside from the sprawled out Unusor, just somewhat muttering, "Get back here, you blue bastard," is the window being open. And a familiar looking hawk looming over a sleeping Misskiff, with its beak just opened up wide, as if it's getting ready to bite down, before it freezes and just looks to you.
Well, hello again. I suppose this is the moment that I remind you. You have entered the lair of the hippo! Marquis is going to charge at it.
I am going to need perception checks from both Unusor and Misskiff after that.
Oh, I'll gladly wake up from that if he was yelling. But for the lulls.
Yeah, you'd both be awake from that as you hear Marquis shout out loud and then come stomping in as the hawk tries its best to make its way to the window to fly off. I am going to need you to make me a grapple check, Marquis. And as you're all
So
just
close, yet so far away.
as you're all groggily just kind of getting up, just be like, what the hell's he shouting about? You just hear a loud squawking noise. As Marquis, you managed to grab hold of the hawk. Just,
My friend!
just as it was about to leave, you just kind of grab it by the leg and then pull it in.
The enemy is snuck into our lair at the middle of the night, and I have caught their espionage spy! Hawk, bird, avian, lizard
Just kind of
thing.
looks up at it. It's like,
Wait, wasn't that thing familiar?
Yes! I know, right?
We killed its owner. It shouldn't still be here.
Oh, yes, that is actually true. Why are you here? He's got it hold in both hands.
It's just squirming and trying to get out while just like shrieking and squawking.
I'll eat you. I'll fucking do it.
It doesn't seem like it.
Downstairs, we're all eating breakfast, and we can just hear this muffle going on upstairs. No
Pretty
one
much.
reacts. No one assumes. Marquis doing Marquis things. Best to let Marquis do Marquis things. You wouldn't understand it anyway.
Pretty much.
just kind of like, I'm gonna use my telepathy and go in his head.
What are you still doing here?
Make me a wisdom saving throw, Miss Keith. You connect up to the mind of this bird. And almost instantly, as soon as you do, you want out. You want out of this thing's mind. This thing should not exist. This thing should not be. This is an impossibility. This is a familiar whose owner is dead. And you are getting all of that. Just the best way to describe it is just a sense of wrong. Just a sense of being wrong. A sense of an impossibility.
Would I be able to know whether if we killed this thing, that would kind of fix this issue?
Make me an Arcana check.
I am not an intelligent creature.
You have
Uh,
no idea. Not just because
Uh,
this is kind of new to you anyway, but also because you have never heard of anything of the sorts of this happening before.
Um, that's yeah. This shouldn't exist. Maybe kill it. I think it might just put it out of its misery at this point. That head is very miserable.
Downstairs, despite nothing in the action happening, we all hear another minor explosion. We accept that we know what's going on ish.
I'd just bolt it, but I don't want to hit you.
So yes, what are you, Unusor, and Misskiff going to do with this bird, Marquis? What are the three of you
What's it
together going
say?
to do?
Well, it's just nothing. It shouldn't exist.
Unusor would be in favor of killing this thing for the audacity of interrupting his slumber.
Like, this really shouldn't exist. Like, it's just wrong. It feels wrong. I think
Uh,
killing it could fix the issue. Because when you kill a familiar, they just go back where they come from, usually. But I
What if
don't
its owner
exactly
is
know
undead?
what'll happen. Oh, I don't think its owner's undead, because it's just not got a connection at all, from what I can tell.
Marquise is taking a deep look into this avian creature. Do you wish for death, my friend?
It just looks at you and just lets out the massive, like a massive shriek.
Ha ha! Well then, let's let fate decide! And Marquise will take out his coin.
Okay.
Heads, you die. Tails, well, I've got another plan for you, my friend.
Heads, you
You know
die.
what? Can I make a perception at this point because he has just screamed "Heads, you die."
Yeah, go.
No,
Ha ha!
reckless.
Tails!
Tails, the other
Con-
plan that I have for you is here you go, Unusor.
I don't think it's a good idea
Congratulations!
to like, release it, so don't do that.
Oh, I'm
Could
not
you-
releasing it, my friend.
So who has the bird? I'm confused.
Marquis does.
Marquise does.
Ah.
I'm not releasing the bird. I've got better plans. See, my avian, reptilian, and infernal muspelid, muspelud, whatever you are.
Mustard.
Mustard, yes, my infernal mustard. I am something akin to a collector of lost things, and I know a certain someone that might want to get their hands on you and even help in your situation. Wouldn't that be nice, my avian friend?
Kind of narrows its eyes, but at least now it's not shrieking and screaming at you.
Ah, yes. Well, in that chance, in the hat you go. And Marquise is going to take his hat and shove the bird in to the hat and then put the hat back on his head. It's not a hat of holding, by the way. It's just a hat with like gears on, with like clockwork gears on the inside and a very disgruntled mouse.
Oh dear God. I
Oh,
hate
and trust me, the mouse is able to take care of himself if the bird tries to attack him.
I hate to make this reference,
No,
but
you
I
don't.
can't believe you just spring locked the bird.
At this, the Marquise is going to clap his hands very loudly, and with that, wake up, you two! Oh, wait, you're already awake. I see. That's a situation. Anywho, I did my job, and Marquis is bursting another hole through the wall.
Yep. Just as the first hole is
Alright.
reforming, another hole is made.
Ha
I still think that thing shouldn't be alive still. There's something really wrong about a familiar that's just not connected to anything.
Do you want to tell him he should kill it?
I don't think we could if we wanted to. I don't think he'd listen.
Calm down. Bring it to the breakfast, people.
Kind of hop off the bed and start going downstairs.
Are you also going downstairs straight away, Unusor, or are you doing something first?
Yes. I will put my pants back on and go downstairs.
Okay. So you're
Because
all,
I sleep in the nude.
as you're all recon.
Push you.
It's a good job Dragonborn don't have, Dragonfolk don't have anything external. But as you're all
You know,
reconvene,
except for their snack spot where they like to keep their snacks.
no, that is the egg holders.
I prefer the snack version of that meme.
That's where I keep my snacks. No, you may not have any. But you all reconvene downstairs. Where luckily there's still quite a bit left of the breakfast.
Well, Au-Zuk is happily consuming a hash brown.
Cog!
Misskiff's just watching worriedly at the Marquis's hat.
I've
So-
got a wonderful new thing.
What was it that you were murdering up there?
Wonderful.
Yes,
new
but
thing.
do you remember when we were fighting those lizard cultists? Lizard
The
cultists?
bandits.
Dragon? Yes, the bandits that stole from Loretta.
That was literally about 2 days ago. It's hard
You can
not
just
to remember.
feel the irritation from Cog when you mention those people.
Yes, well, do you remember that the one had a familiar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and that the familiar was a bird hawk that tried to eat Misskiff.
Yes.
Mm.
Marquis is lifting up his hat, having his hand on the hawk, and just holding it outwards. I found him!
First, I'm going to make a perception. Then I'm going to make an arcana. Au-Zuk determines 2 things. Yes, that is the bird. Yes, that's illegal.
Pretty much.
That is the bird, the word.
Au-Zuk will
It
still look up
shouldn't
and
be
go.
here.
Now,
BRB.
I am not one that casts familiars, personally. But that's not how they work. And
I
yes, I
know,
have to
fan-
confess it is a spitting image, and I don't believe you're a spellcaster.
No, I'm not. It was trying to eat Misskiff again. I
Incredible. May I have a look at it?
know. Sure.
I'm gonna have a real good look at it.
Yep.
Would you like a check, or
Make me an Arcana again.
an Arcana?
Yeah.
It's a slightly worse Arcana.
It definitely looks like the same kind of bird, but everything you know about familiars tells you, yeah, no, this shouldn't be the same bird. After all, you saw the owner die. You saw the owner die quite brutally. Unless that
Au-Zuk
owner's
comes to
been...
the most logical conclusion, which is simply that this is a bird that happens to look like the familiar. And just goes, I'm not going to lie. This realm does have hawks. It's very possible you simply found a very similar one.
But Misskiff connected with its mind. They're now under the belief that it doesn't exist within this reality and doesn't belong, which is perfect.
Right. Misskiff looks very confused.
I mean, I am a fan of things that don't belong of this strange. I mean, look at all of you. Tell me any of you belong within this world.
No, you
Cool.
are correct.
I flipped the coin.
I love the idea. It's like, yes, look at all of you. Tell me any of you should belong in this world. Meanwhile, probably the most normal one here from all these lot is just Sanna being like, what?
I flip the coin, and the coin says that we give it to them.
Give it to them.
We give it to them. And they can
Hmm.
do with it as they please.
Perhaps next visit.
Just sort of puts his arm out with the hawk still on it. So, are you the familiar that we met a couple of days ago? Shake your head for yes. No, not your head for yes. Shake for no. Sorry, I'm not used to speaking
It'll
to talk back.
glare
What?
at
One call for yes, two calls for no.
It'll glare at Misskiff from like the corner of its eyes before looking back to you and nodding.
It really is, huh? No hawk is intelligent enough to answer the question, let alone... Well, correctly, I suppose. Don't even know why I told it to shake its head.
To try and catch it
Well.
out if it tried to lie and was stupid enough to fall for it still.
Hmm.
Well, just sort of shrugs and goes, there are ways to permanently summon a familiar. They're not common, though. I had an old friend who used to summon his familiar. His familiar was sort of a spirit that was sort of bound. It was a familiar, but it had a sense of permanence, if that makes sense. It was a small mimic. I hated it.
Ah, yes, absolute vermin.
I didn't hate it because it was particularly ineffective or harsh. I hated it simply because I couldn't tell the difference between it and other things either. But every now and again, I'd pick something up and oh, it's a mimic. I believe a mock, they call it.
One time I went to the bathroom. We don't talk about that incident.
Well, yes, but questions, thoughts. Bird, you need a name. You need a name. We're gonna call you
Didn't see.
Kissmith. What was that, Uno?
Nothing.
Oh, I said Kissmith.
Kismith? Do, hands the bird back. You've got
Hey!
something one of a kind there, not going to lie.
I know.
Well, I'm sure there are other familiars, but certainly not one as unbound as that, if what you're saying is true, I suppose.
As it hears its
yes.
new name, it just gives like a
Seeing as Damodar, our opponent, works in possibilities, I would approach it with an air of caution.
just as it hears its new name, it gives like an eye roll as if it's just thinking to itself, I already have a name, but I know at the same time I'm not going to win this argument.
We can't tell us, you dipshit.
Exactly.
So. Oh, no, go on. Voice from the skies.
It is. It's just seeing what time it is as such. So, while this is happening, we are going to zoom our way back over to the forest. Because it is morning. Bean, you're awoken by a slight kick to you.
Awoken.
Yes.
Awoken?
As you just feel like something just kicking you slightly, being like, hey, what the fuck you think you're doing here? This is my tree and you get the fuck out of my tree.
Looks at them.
You see what seems to be a small humanoid figure. Just slightly bigger than you are. Dressed in what seems to be forest-like colours. So it just gives you another kick. Say, get up, this is my tree. Go on. Feck off.
Bean shuffles up to his feet, looks back, and I swipe at his feet.
Roll your damage.
4. It doesn't do a lot of damage, it's just his tail.
He kind of stumbles back, quickly gains his balance back on the branch.
And then he jumps out of the tree and flies away back off towards town.
As you do so, make me a perception check, if you would. Something just catches your eye, just out the corner. A
Oh.
marching line of villagers making their way deeper into the forest.
And Bean is changing direction.
And as you do change direction, make me a wisdom saving throw.
We're gonna do terrible things.
Back.
Not terrible.
Sorry about that.
As you're flying to try and catch up to this line, you begin to hear music, like a soothing, melancholic tune, just flowing through the air. And as you continue to follow on, your mind gets a little bit hazy, but you manage to keep control of yourself. You see this small line, this line of villagers. Villagers that are dressed pretty much how some of them were yesterday. Walking towards what seems to be a portal.
How far away am I from them, would you say, at this point?
Let's call it 30 foot up in the air.
Okay.
And you see them all willingly walking through this portal.
Bean is going to turn around and head back towards town.
Okay.
Taking note of the location of the portal and just kind of tracking his way back.
Yep. And as you make your way back into the town, following the trail of the others. How are you entering the tavern? Because I don't know if Bean is strong enough to. I'm assuming Bean would be strong enough to open up a door.
Oh no, Bean's just hurling himself through the nearest window.
Okay.
I want you to know that Bean himself has more than enough money to pay for the window.
What I need to ask, what I need to ask more from the party, as a group decision, is who has the window seat?
Nope, not a chance.
Nope.
Au-Zuk getting that good view.
Oh yeah, that's right. Bean's also weighted.
Sanna,
You know what?
Misskiff.
Nope.
Oh, go
Nope, that does not see Plushy hurling through window.
on. I'm asking who has the window seat at the moment.
On the ship.
No, as you're eating breakfast.
Oh. Misskiff is sat on the table, so.
So we can rule Misskiff out.
Well, she can't sit on one of the chairs. She's too small.
So, Sanna, Cog, Waffleberg. Jesus Christ, I've done it again. Marquis, would either of you three be having the window seat?
I would be having whichever place doesn't have a seat.
That is fair. Yeah.
Ow.
Because I just
Um,
curl up to sit on my own coils.
It should be stated, because of how big the Marquis is, when he takes a seat, he does take multiple seats. So no, he's probably standing.
So that would be. It would be Cog then.
Right.
Cog, you hear windows shattering behind you, and you feel something
18.
just.
80-pound plushie smash.
And you feel the glass just kind of bounce off the back of your metal head as it just kind of has been just kind of latches onto the back. Just
Backpack has returned.
Now, I've been with a lot of groups in my time, but you really are taking the cake for the most chaotic.
Hmm.
I want you to know that I actually, yeah, it's chaotic neutral for Bean.
Couldn't have guessed.
Hey, he can't open doors. That's actually not true. He has more than enough strength to open a door. It's just that he's too short to open doors.
Doors never stopped Marquis.
Yeah, well, as we just saw, windows aren't stopping Bean, so.
so as you smash through the window and attach back onto the back of Cog's head.
Huh.
Cog will hear a small whisper in their head. To the forest.
To the forest.
Portal to the forest.
There's a portal in the forest.
We
What about it?
people.
Hmm. Broadcasting this to the group. There's apparently people going through a portal in the forest?
Well, I was beginning to think that we'd have to go investigating, but apparently the
might
sentient plush has managed to
explain.
find it anyway.
It might explain the missing folks.
Might.
Bean
Could
kind
be
of
something else.
shakes Cog.
Hmm?
There is also something there that messes with your brains.
There's another brain thing there.
No.
It's probably the same brain thing at this rate.
Hmm.
I might be 460 years old, but I do not have the word vocabulary to explain this to you as Bean. That's as good as you get. Brain thing.
I mean, just imagery in your head. I could probably put it together from that.
Well, it's not really imagery. It's more or less the fact that Bean's just trying to explain brain foggy.
Brain foggy.
So, as you are all given this information and are deciding what to do with the rest of the day,
We'll find out next time.
you will, but I need to do my little cheeky little cliffhanger cutaway scene thing.
Next time on Dark Tides of
As
Runeterra.
we find ourselves in the Feywild with a
Ooh.
certain sea hag just going about her way, doing her investigations.
What is Waffleberg doing here? What?
Where she is accosted with a hand on each shoulder and turned around. And as she turns, she finds herself facing 3 other hags. Where it is you've been working with the normals, the ones from the physical realm. Now you know we shouldn't be doing that, right? You know we are supposed to be remaining out of their affairs. And Bridie will just look to him and be like, when our affairs are meddling in their affairs, it's going to look bad on us all. If we can try and get rid of one, we can go back to our olden ways. Surely you all should see this, yes? And the 3rd hag will approach and just look down at her. Yes, but when you've been helping out a certain little fuzzball of mine, then it becomes my problem as well. Have you been trying to help them regain their form? You shouldn't have done that. Ladies, take her. We're going back to the hut. We'll see what Briny makes of our new concoctions. As Briny is dragged away. The two other hags dragging her just give her another smile and go, yes, Granny no one. And that is where we're ending it for this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to kill the granny.
Apologize,
Kill all
my
the
verbal
granny.
apraxia kicked in there.
Oof.
Sorry about that, Leigh.
It's fine.
To you wonderful people, I hope you all have a great afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope you all know for future endeavors, I mean no malevolence by anything that happens to any of you, okay? I swear.
Raka, I just immediately assume one of three things is going to happen with the characters. Either they're immediately going to attempt to fuck us over, they're going to die horrifically, or you're going to switch characters at some point.
So
Normally, all
I
three.
actually have no intentions of switching characters. Bean will actually be the most helpful person in the world. It's
Microwave
it's
sounds.
it's just another thing that I have been very excited about Bean. But it's not something that's gonna be like apparently obvious
So I hope you
to
all enjoyed today's session.
everyone.
I
Yes.
Yes. Again, apologies, my verbal apraxia kicked in there towards the end, so everything I was thinking was coming out.
It's fine.
fine.
I I think you'll notice sometimes with me, like when it comes to my DMing style, while I'm trying to stay stuff, it'll end up being like verbal diarrhea. Sometimes I'll be like, it's this and also this kind of thing. No, but say like three different descriptors for something, I'll be like, ah, yeah, no, that's happened. Or I'll be
Well,
like,
like,
they're doing this, conniving, scheming, and all this. Oh, like, ah, stop it, me.
Lay.
Yeah.
um,
I will say the people at the gate are almost not wrong. Because Bean doesn't really talk to Cog unless he's attached to Cog.
You just being just attached to Cog, you just see like a proboscis just come out and just stab Cog it back ahead. Plugged in.
Ta-da!
Turns out Cog was the danger all along.
It's
Anyway,
just a
so
freaking USB port.
Yep. Computer dial-up sounds.
thank you all
Dial-up
for
internet sounds.
thank you all so much for
But,
tuning in.
Yeah.
If you want to catch more adventures from some of us, check out Start Plunder and Sirens Through the Fog over on Spotify, as well as Echoes from the Past over on Chocobo Keeper's channel. And over here, you can also catch on alternating Mondays. Tuesdays is when I record, Mondays when I upload. Dark Tides of Runeterra. Also, I'm still trying to wonder if I am going to upload the two-shot that you're doing, Santa. Because I still do have the first episode of that.
Well, hopefully this week I'll be there.
Yes, I need sister. Sister, we're dead.
Ron,
Sister, we're
waiting for
dead.
you to join. No, yeah, it's
last
up to
week
you. I won't
Ron,
be uploading.
last week Ron passed out. Okay, Ron could not
Oh.
be there.
Also, apologies for the background noise. All of a sudden, they turned my AC on.
That's fine.
Okay.
It has,
They turned your
gone
armor
to blue.
class on.
Yes,
Shit, that
they
means it's
did.
harder to hit.
But yes, are you still rolling?
I am.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna turn my
so
mic off then.
I do just need to do the whole thing of. So thank you so much, and we will see you next time on the Devil Darlings.
Over in Sarah.
Why don't you Devil Darlings yourself some bitches? I could have done that better. Why don't you devil yourself some darlings?
Hmm.
That works. Bye.